was and standardize and pipeline it up and like massively expand and deal with people and the need. Sorry.
Is just love and be loved in
Then wear the gold hat, if that will move her. If you can bounce high, bounce for her too, till she cry lover, gold-hatted, high bouncing lover. I must have you.
If personality is an unbroken sequence of successful gestures, then there was something gorgeous about him. About Gatsby. It's an extraordinary gift for hope, a romantic readiness such as I've never found in another person, and which is unlikely I'll ever find again. Everyone suspects himself of at least one of the cardinal virtues, and this is mine. I'm one of the few honest people I've ever known. I graduated from Yale in 1915 and a little later participated in the Great War. I came back restless and I decided to move east and learn the bond business. I found a house in the country in West Egg, Long Island, next to Gatsby's mansion. And I had a familiar conviction that life would begin again this summer. The real story that summer begins the evening I drove to East Egg and had dinner with the Tom Buchanans. Daisy Buchanan was my second cousin, much removed, and I'd known Tom in college.
Tom Buchanan? He was one of the most powerful ends that ever played football at Yale. Hell in the country.
Tom Buchanan was one of those men who reached such an acute limit of excellence at 21 that everything after savors of anticlimax.
He comes from one of the wealthiest families in the country.
And he certainly wasn't afraid to spend his inheritance. The way I heard he brought a string of polo ponies with him when he was in college.
It's difficult for me to realize that a man my own generation was wealthy enough to do that. As a couple, Tom and Daisy Buchanan were wonderfully rich together.
I have to admit, I have a pretty nice house here. Come, we'll go inside.
I'm paralyzed with happiness. Oh, Nick, it's wonderful to see you. Our people back home. Do they miss me?
The whole town is desolate.
How gorgeous. Let's go back to Chicago, Tom, tomorrow. Nick, you ought to see the baby. She's asleep. She's 3 years old. Haven't you ever seen her? You ought to see her. How long are you staying?
Until I make my fortune?
Tom will help you, won't you, darling?
What do you do, Nick? I'm a bondman.
You will be as rich as Midas one day. You'll help him, won't you, Tom?
Who with?
Probity. International.
Huh. Never heard of him. Probably some two-bit operation. But don't let my opinion on these matters be final. Just because I'm bigger and stronger and more of a man than you are. Wait, did I just really say that?
No, in truth, he didn't. I may be taking a bit of poetic license, but it is the sort of thing you might say.
Fair enough. But I've certainly thought it once or twice.
I'm stiff. I've been lying on that sofa for as long as I can remember.
Don't look at me. I've been trying to get you to New York all afternoon.
No thanks. I'm in training.
Nick Carraway, Miss Jordan Baker. Nick is my cousin.
Second cousin, what's removed?
He and Tom graduated Yale together. Nick, I've been telling Jordan all about you.
You live in West Egg. You must know Gatsby.
Gatsby? What Gatsby? 2 weeks, it'll be the longest day of the year. Do you always watch for the longest day of the year and then miss it? I always watch for the longest day of the year and then miss it. What will we plan? What do people plan? Look, my finger is black and blue. You heard it, Tom. You didn't mean to do it, but you did do it. That's what I get for marrying a brute of a man. A great big, hulking, physical specimen of a man.
I told you I hate that word hulking, even in kidding.
Hulking, 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 hulking. Oh, Jordan is just back from Paris. Jordan was in Paris to see the new Henri Matisse exhibit. I adore him, but Jordan thinks he's too traditional. You prefer Pablo Picasso, but he is much too wild and unconventional.
Pablo Picasso can be wild and unconventional with me anytime.
Jordan!
Civilization's going to pieces. I know I've become a terrible pessimist about these things. No one is talking about it, but we need to look out for the white race. We're under siege and no one knows it.
Tom is getting very profound. He reads deep books with long words in them. I love to see you in my house, Nick. You remind me of a rose, an absolute rose. Doesn't he? An absolute rose.
This was untrue. I'm not even faintly like a rose.
Don't say anything. I want to hear what's happening.
Is something happening?
You mean you don't know? I thought everyone knew.
I don't.
Why, Tom's got a girl in New York. She might have the decency not to call during the cocktail hour.
It couldn't be helped. I went outdoors for a moment, and it's very romantic outdoors. There's a bird on the lawn that must be a nightingale come over on the White Star Line from England. He's singing away. It's romantic, isn't it, Tom?
Very romantic.
I should go.
Don't go yet, please. Tom!
To a certain temperament, the whole situation might seem intriguing. My own instinct was to telephone immediately for the police. Later that night, I was able to spend some time alone with Daisy. I saw that turbulent emotions possessed her, so I asked her what I thought might be some sedative questions about her little girl. Are you planning on staying in the East?
This is a permanent move. We hate it, France. We've just been drifting endlessly. Parties and yachts and hulking men hitting wooden balls with mallets. We don't know each other very well, Nick, even though we are cousins. You didn't come to my wedding.
I wasn't back from the war.
Oh. Well, that's true. The war did take a lot of young men away. Well, listen, Nick, I've had a very bad time of things, and I'm pretty cynical about everything.
Well, I suppose your daughter talks and eats and everything?
Oh, yes. Listen, Nick, let me tell you what I said when she was born. Would you like to hear? It'll show you how I've come to feel about things. Well, she was barely an hour old, and Tom was God knows where. I woke up out of the ether with an utterly abandoned feeling, and I asked the nurse right away whether it was a boy or a girl. She told me it was a girl, and so I turned my head away and wept. All right, I said. I'm glad it's a girl, and I hope she'll be a fool, because that's the best thing a girl could be in this world, is a beautiful little fool. You see, I think everything's terrible anyhow. Everybody thinks so, the most advanced people. And I ought to know, I have been everywhere and seen everything and done everything. Sophisticated. God, I am so sophisticated.
10 o'clock. Time for this good girl to go to bed.
Jordan is from Louisville. We spent our girlhood there together, our beautiful girlhood. Jordan is playing in the tournament tomorrow over at Westchester.
Oh, you're Jordan Baker, the golfer. I knew you looked familiar.
Good night. wake me at 8?
If you'll get up.
I will. Good night, Mr. Carraway. I'll see you anon.
Of course you will. In fact, I think I'll arrange a marriage. Come on over often, Nick, and I'll sort of accidentally fling you together, you know, lock you up in linen closets and push you out to sea in a boat and all that sort of thing.
Good night. I haven't heard a thing.
You know, she's a nice girl, but her family oughtn't let her run around the country that way.
Her family is one aunt, about 1,000 years old. And besides, Nick is going to look after her, aren't you? She's going to be here lots of weekends this summer. I think the home influence would be very good on her. Oh, wait. We forgot to ask you something, and it's important. We heard you were engaged to a girl out west.
That's libel. I'm too poor.
But we heard it. We heard it from 3 people, so it must be true.
Now I really must go. I've got to earn a living with the rest of the poor souls of this world.
Good night, my sweet one, my dear sweet Nick. Good night. Good night.
Honestly, that gossip is one of the reasons why I moved east. I have no intention of being rumored into marriage. Well, thanks for a lovely evening. I was confused and a little disgusted. It seemed to me the thing for Daisy to do was to rush out of the house, child in arms. But apparently she had no such intentions in her head. As for Tom, the fact that he had a woman in New York was less surprising than that he actually read, even if the subject matter was fodder for imbeciles. I was curious to see Tom's mistress. I didn't want to meet her, but I did. I went up to New York with Tom on the train one afternoon.
Hey, come on. We're going to New York on the train. We'll get off at the next stop. I want you to meet my girl. Hey, Wilson. 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 Hey, how's business?
Can't complain. Say, when are you gonna sell me that car?
I got my best man working on it right now.
It works pretty slow, don't he?
No, he doesn't. In fact, if you think that way about it, maybe I won't sell it to you after all.
No, I didn't mean that. I just meant, you know, if you...
Get some chairs, will ya? So someone can sit down?
Oh, sure.
I want to see you. Get on the next train.
All right.
Meet me on the lower level by the newsstand.
Okay.
Doesn't her husband object?
Huh. Who? Wilson? No. He thinks she's going to New York to see her sister. Why, he's so dumb, he doesn't even know he's alive. Wilson, what an old fool.
Myrtle caught up to us and we all made it downtown. Well, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to leave you here.
Oh, no, you don't. Myrtle will be upset if you leave, won't you, Myrtle?
Yeah, come on. I'm going to have the McKees come up.
Yeah, and, Nick, be a pal, will you? Go get some cigarettes.
Sure. I went downstairs and bought a pack, and when I returned, it suddenly disappeared. Hello? Hello?
Here comes the choo-choo train, baby! Woo-hoo!
The choo-choo train? Oh, for little old me. Oh, what a sweet little choo-choo train you are.
Little? Hey, who you call little?
Oh, what a sweet boy. It's not the size of the choo-choo that matters. Come here. You know what the choo-choo train says. I think I can.
I like that, baby. Yeah, I like that.
I think I can.
I think I can.
Excuse me, but where's Tom and Myrtle?
Should think they're pulling into Union Station about now.
I'm Chester McKee. I'm in the artistic business, photography. What line of work are you in?
I'm
This gorgeous creature. is my wife and muse.
I'm Lucille. My husband Chester's photographed me 127 times since we've been married. 127 times.
See?
Some of them in zip French style wouldn't get past the censors, if you know what I mean. I mean, I'm naked.
So I gather.
Everybody, meet Nick. Nick, meet everybody.
He's a little quiet. He's a little sorry.
Well, once you get to know him, he's still quiet. But quiet can be a good thing, right, Nicky?
I should be clear on one point. Nobody, and I mean nobody, ever called me Nicky. Tom finally emerged, covered in sweat, and the evening only got better.
Dear, these fellas will cheat you every time. Why, I had a woman in here the other day to look at my feet, and when she gave me the bill, you thought she'd had my appendicitis out.
Wait, someone came to look at your feet?
Yeah, she goes around to people's houses looking at their feet.
Well, I like your dress. I think it's adorable.
Oh, this old thing. I just throw it on when I don't care what I look like.
Well, it's gorgeous. Now, if only Chester could get you in the right pose, I think we could do something with it.
I should like to change the light to bring out those features and all that hair.
I wouldn't do anything with the light.
Silence!
Hey, Myrtle. Why don't you get some ice and mineral water or something before everybody melts?
You live down on Long Island like Tom?
I live in West End.
Yeah. You know, I went to a party there about a month ago. A man named Gatsby. Do you know him?
I live next door to him.
Well, I heard he's a cousin or nephew to Kaiser Wilhelm's. That's where his money comes from. You know, I heard he's a bootlegger and that he killed a man. Well, I would hate for him to have anything on me.
Listen, Tom, I should like to get some work out on Long Island. If they would just give me the entree. Could I just get a start?
I tell you, ask Myrtle over there. Why, she could get a letter of introduction for your husband so she could do studies of him. She could do George Wilson at the gasoline pump or something like that.
You see, neither of them can stand the person that they're married to.
Can't they?
Can't stand them. You know what I say? Why go on living with each other if you can't stand each other? They should get a divorce and get married to each other right away.
Doesn't she like Wilson either?
Look! You tried being married to a stupid, ambitionless bastard who smells like grease. Oh!
You see, it's really his wife that's keeping them apart. She's a Catholic, and they don't believe in divorce.
Daisy was not a Catholic. I was a little shocked at the elaborateness of the lie.
Why'd you marry Wilson anyway, Myrtle? Nobody forced you to.
I married him because I thought he was a gentleman. I married him because I thought he knew something about breeding. And he's not fit to lick my shoe.
You used to be crazy about him.
Crazy about him? Why, I was no more crazy about him than I am about that man over there. The only crazy I was when I married him. I knew right away I'd made a mistake.
I wanted to get out. But each time I tried, I became entangled by some wild and strident argument that pulled me back, as if with ropes, into my chair. I was within and without, simultaneously enchanted and repelled by the inexhaustible variety of life. Myrtle came close to share the details of when she first met Tom.
We were on the train. I was going to New York. We were on those last two seats that face each other that are always left. He had on a dress suit and patent leather shoes. I couldn't keep my eyes off of him. But every time he looked at me, I pretended to look at the advertisement above his head.
Hey, Myrtle, what are you doing?
What?
Get over here.
I'm telling a story. When we got into Union Station, his front shirt pressed against my arm, and I told him I'd have to call a policeman, but he knew I was lying. When I got in the taxi cab, I hardly didn't know it was a subway train. All I kept thinking over and over again was, you can't live forever. You can't live forever. You can't
That's enough,
live
Myrtle.
forever.
Get off of him.
Get your
I should get going.
No, stay.
Oh, yes, please stay. Stay.
Yes, we live right downstairs. I can show you my portfolio.
I've been drunk only twice in my life, and the second time is this afternoon. I don't think Daisy would find it admirable.
Daisy! Everybody talks about her like she's some goddamn saint.
Shut up, Myrtle.
Don't tell me to shut up. I'll say anything I want.
I told you not to use her name.
Daisy! Ah! Ah! You bastard! You son of a bitch bastard!
I woke up with an awful hangover the next morning. Tom must have gotten me home. Oddly, I was beginning to like New York. And all the while, there was music coming from my neighbor's house. In his blue gardens, men and girls came and went like moths among the whisperings and the champagne and the stars. Then, early one Saturday morning, a chauffeur crossed my lawn and delivered an oddly formal note. The honor would be entirely Gatsby's, it said, if I were to attend his little party that night. It was signed J. Gatsby in a majestic hand. I was one of the few people that actually been invited. People weren't invited to Gatsby's parties. They just went. I must admit, I felt ill at ease attending with so many people I didn't know.
Evening, good sir. Are you headed to Gatsby's soiree?
Well, I suppose. I'll get there presently.
Get there presently. My good sir, I would get there at once. I wouldn't miss a minute of Gatsby parties.
But I don't know anyone. It feels a bit awkward.
Don't know anyone? Au contraire, you certainly do.
But who?
Why, us, silly. Meet the foremost civilized degenerates in all of New York. And I mean the whole state, not just the city, my friend.
Well, don't wait all year, for heaven's sake. Come on!
And bring friends.
Really?
Certainly. Let's all go to Gatsby's.
I love a Gatsby party.
Oh, Gatsby's parties are the absolute best.
And what's the best thing about a Gatsby party?
Seeing all the beautiful people.
Let's close, but that's not the best.
Oh, then it's dancing the latest dances.
Close, but no cigar, my friend.
Well, what then?
The best thing about a Gatsby party is the gossip.
Oh, right. And what's the only thing to gossip about at a Gatsby party?
How Gatsby made
His money! Oh, I heard he made his money betting on the ponies.
I heard that he made his money cornering the telephone technology market.
Telephone technology. That will never last. Okay, he made his money in conservative investments in stocks and bonds.
Goodness, that's
It's the
terrible.
most reliable, trustworthy, and secure way to make money. The stock market is rock solid.
I'm afraid you're all wrong.
Wrong about what? How Gatsby made his money?
No, silly. The best thing about a Gatsby party isn't the gossip, although that certainly is delicious. The best thing about a Gatsby party is the music.
Let's get out of here.
Well, Jordan, hello.
Come on, this is all much too polite for me. Who brought you? Or did you just come? I was brought. Most people here were brought.
I was invited.
Huh, I didn't know anybody was invited to a Gatsby party. Very curious indeed, Mr. Carraway.
Excuse me, but we were chatting over there, and are you Jordan Baker, the famous female golfer?
It is. It's Jordan Baker in the flesh.
My adoring public, I mustn't keep them waiting. You found me out, my friends, but do me a favor, you can call me Jordan Baker, the famous golfer.
Anything you say, Miss Baker, famous golfer. Come over here.
Say, your face looks familiar. Weren't you in the 3rd Division during the war? I was in the 9th Machine Gun Battalion. I was in the 7th Artillery until June 1918. I knew I'd seen you somewhere before. You miss it? The war? Oh, yes. Suppose I missed it so much I came back restless. Made going home pretty dull.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I doubt most of the people here have any idea what it's like being in the trenches.
It's not something you forget.
No, it's not. Where are you from?
I'm from Minneapolis.
Ah, I know them well. Listen, I just bought me one of those new hydroplanes, and I thought I'd try it out tomorrow. Care to join me, old sport? Just along the shore near the sound.
What time?
Anytime that suits you best.
Why, yes. Yes, I'd like that very much. By the way, my name is Nick.
Mr. Carraway,
I'm Miss Baker. Hello.
having a good time?
Well, it's an odd party for me. You know, I've been here for 4 hours and I haven't even seen the host.
I'm Gatsby.
Gatsby smiled a rare and radiant smile that brightened the world. Oh, I beg your pardon.
Well, I thought you knew, old sport. I'm afraid I haven't been a very good host.
Sorry to interrupt. There's a call from Detroit.
Tell him I'll call him later.
That's not such a good idea.
Anything you want, old sport, just ask for it. If you two will excuse me, I'll rejoin the both of you later. I said a small town, Meyer. It's no use to us if Detroit is his idea of a small town.
I feel like an idiot. I kept expecting Gatsby to be some fat, middle-aged man. Who is he? Do you know?
He's just a man named Gatsby.
What does he do, I mean? Where's he from?
I haven't the faintest idea.
You don't just suddenly buy a palace coming out of nowhere on Long Island.
Well, Gatsby did.
Well, he must have some kind of past.
Well, I heard once that he's an Oxford man, but I'm not sure I believe it.
Why not?
I don't know, I just don't think he went there.
I've heard the wildest rumors about him.
Oh, that he killed someone, that he's a German spy?
Yes!
Anyhow, he has large parties, and I like large parties. They're so intimate. At small parties, you can't have any privacy. You having a good time?
I am having a good time. With you.
Dance with me.
All right.
I beg your pardon, Miss Baker?
Yes?
Mr. Gatsby asked for a word with you alone.
With me?
What he said?
Remember what I told you. Come and see me.
Daisy! Daisy! Where the hell are you? Daisy! What are you doing down here on the dock?
Looking at the party lights across the sound.
You know how worried I get when you disappear like that?
Do you? We had to go sometime. Dance again.
Ah, you don't want to associate with those people. Come on, let's go inside.
I miss the parties.
Yeah, I know you do, but Pammy needs you.
In a minute.
I said Pammy needs you.
And I said, in a minute.
Fine. Fine. Do as you like.
Oh, you mean like you?
Look, I don't know what's gotten into you lately.
It was so much nicer a long time ago. When we had each other. And the space about the world was warm.
At 9 o'clock one morning, soon thereafter, Gatsby's gorgeous car lurched up the drive. By then, I'd flown on his hydroplane, gone to 2 more of his parties, and at his urgent request, made frequent use of his beach.
Good morning, old sport. You'll be having lunch with me today. Thought we'd drive up in my car. Pretty, isn't she? Have you ever seen her before?
I've seen it. Everybody's seen it. When we arrived to town, to our destination, we took a short stroll.
Hey, you with the fancy yellow car? You can't drive like that. You were speeding. You hadn't stopped ever with a car too.
My apologies, officer. I plan to cooperate fully. Here's my card.
Oh God. Mr. Gatsby, I didn't know it was you. I'm not so sorry to have bothered you.
No bother at all, old sport. No bother at all.
If there's anything we can do for you, you just holler. You hear?
Absolutely, officer. You have my deepest gratitude.
What was that?
Well, I've done a favor or two for the commissioner here and there. Look here, old sport. What's your opinion of me, anyhow?
Well, honestly, I've heard all sorts of rumors.
Look, I'm going to tell you something about my life. I don't want you to get the wrong impression from all those stories you hear. This is God's honest truth. I'm the son of some wealthy people out of the Middle West. All dead now. I was raised in America, but educated at Oxford on account of the fact that all my relatives have been educated there for many years. Family tradition.
Gatsby! James! You owe me a rematch in our poker game. Let's raise the stakes to double or nothing.
Rematch suits me fine. I think it's more accurate to put the stakes at quadruple or nothing at this point, sir.
I'm afraid you're right, but watch out, my luck's about to change.
What part of the Middle West did you say you're from?
San Francisco. Look, my folks all died, and I came into a good sum of money. After that, I lived like a young Raj in all the capitals of Europe. Paris, Venice, Rome, collecting jewels, rubies cheaply, hunting big game, painting a little, but only things for myself. And trying hard to forget something very sad that happened to me a long time ago. And then came the war, old sport, and it was a great relief, and I tried very hard to die. But I suppose I bear an enchanted life. I was commissioned as a first lieutenant. That was in the Argonne Forest. You were there.
That's San Miguel Salion.
That's near Silouis. I took 2 machine gun detachments. So far forward, there's a half-mile gap on either side where the infantry could not advance. We were there 2 days, 2 nights. 130 men, 16 Lewis guns. And when the infantry made its way up, they're amazed to see the insignia of 3 German divisions among the piles of dead. After that, I was promoted to major. And every Allied government gave me a decoration. Even Montenegro, little Montenegro down on the Adriatic coast. This is the one from Montenegro. See what it says?
Orderi di Delito, Montenegro, Nicholas Rex.
Flip it over.
Major J. Gatsby, for valor extraordinary.
This is another thing I keep. Souvenir of my Oxford days. Taken in Trinity Quad. The man on the left is now the Earl of Doncaster.
You mean it's all true?
Of course it is.
Oh, Jay! Jay! My dearest Jay!
Who's that?
Over here, Jay! You bad boy! You'll never return my letters!
Letters? Letters are passé. Telephone's the way to go now.
Oh, Jay! Speech is so barbaric! But call me Jay!
Look, what I said before about it being all true, I didn't mean it like that. It's just that...
Oh, it's nothing, old sport. It's nothing.
Why are you telling me all this?
Well, I have a big favor to ask you. And I thought you ought to know something about my life. I didn't want you to think I was just some nobody.
You mean you planned all this?
Well, I knew I could trust you. See, most of my life I spent around strangers on account of the fact that I drift here and there trying to forget that sad thing that happened to me. But you'll hear all about it this afternoon.
At lunch?
Yes, but not with me, with Miss Baker.
I thought we were having lunch.
We are, old sport. And you're having lunch with Miss Baker. Save room. You're going to be enjoying lunch for 2.
I don't understand. Why don't you just tell me yourself?
Well, it's rather delicate. Ah, Nick Carraway, this is my friend, Mr. Meyer Wolfshine. Meyer?
Look at him. What do you think I did? I handed the money to Gatsby, and I said, all right, Gatsby, don't pay him a penny until he shuts his mouth. He
shut it then and there. This is a nice restaurant here. I like the one across the street better, the old Metropole. Filled with faces dead and gone. I'll never forget the night they shot old Rosie Rosenthal there. There was 6 of us at the table. Rosie was eating and drinking all evening. The waiter comes up to him with a funny look and says someone wants to speak to him outside. I says, let the bastards come in here if they want you, Rosie. But don't you, so help me, move outside this room. He goes anyway, saying don't let the waiter take my coffee. He goes out on the sidewalk and boom! Shoot him 3 times in that full belly. Drove away.
4 of them were electrocuted, I remember.
5 with Becker. But anyway, I understand you're looking for a business connection.
Oh no, this isn't the man. This is just a friend, the one I told you about.
I beg your pardon. That's the wrong man.
Yeah, you see, Meyer here's a gambling man. He's the one that fixed the World Series in 1919. Fixed the World Series? How do you do that?
Saw an opportunity. I'm good at seeing opportunities, right, Jay? Fine fellow, ain't he? Handsome to look at and a perfect gentleman. You know, he's an Oxford man. You know Oxford?
You mean
Oxford, yeah, Oxford College in England. You know, one of the most famous colleges in the world. So I've known Gatsby for a few years now. I first made the pleasure of his acquaintance just after the war. I knew I met a man of fine breed, and after less than an hour, I said to myself, there's the kind of man you could take home and introduce to your mother or your sister. He comes from a lot of money, rubies and big game and European capitals and the like. And he won a medal in the war. And he's very careful about women, would never so much as look at a friend's wife. What am I forgetting? What am I forgetting? I covered it all. I think I covered it all this time.
Those are very interesting cufflinks. Are they ivory?
These are the finest specimens of human molars. Teeth.
Indeed they are.
Oh, well, Mr. Caraway, I very much enjoyed our time together. You fellas stay here and talk about your sports and your young ladies and your whatnot. And I'm going to go before I overstay my welcome. And let me know if you want some of these.
Why isn't he in jail? They can't get him, old sport. He's a smart man, and smart men are hard to get.
Nick, what are you doing here? Where have you been? Daisy's furious that you haven't called up.
Oh, Mr. Gatsby, Mr. Buchanan.
How do you do? Nick, how did you happen to come this far uptown to eat?
I'm having lunch with Mr. Gatsby and Miss Baker.
Hey, now you behave yourself with her. I'll be at the apartment later. Why don't you stop by? We'll have a drink. Mr. Gatsby, do excuse me, where'd he go?
Gentlemen. Hello, Tom. Thanks for looking out for dear old Nick, but I can take it from here.
Tom left me alone with Jordan. As we ate, Jordan told me